I never thought Tuesday nights could change a life, but that one did. It started like most of my evenings, quiet, aimless, too still. I was driving back from my sister's house just outside of Mayfield, a small town in northern Oregon, where not much ever happens unless the football team wins or the power goes out. It was around 9:40 p.m., and I remember that specifically because the gas light came on and I cursed out loud. There's only one station on Highway 17, open past 10. The shortcut I took that night cuts through old forest roads. Locals call it Cricket Road because in the summer it hums louder than traffic. In April, though, it's just darkness and fog. That night, the fog was thick, like a wall. I slowed down, squinting through the windshield, debating if I should turn back and take the main road. I didn't. I should have. About halfway through, I saw something strange. Headlights. Parked, but not off. A car was just sitting there, pulled into a clearing like it belonged. But it didn't. I couldn't tell what make or model it was from a distance, but something about it felt off, like it was trying too hard not to be noticed, and failing. I slowed down, rolled past it slowly. My eyes scanned the tree line. No movement, just fog. Then I saw it, a figure, moving, fast, running out of the trees toward the parked car. My first instinct wasn't fear, it was curiosity. That stupid kind of curiosity you have when you're convinced nothing bad ever really happens in your town. But then came the second figure, staggering, chasing, fleeing. I couldn't tell. One of them fell. And then there was light. Not headlights, not streetlight. A flare of orange, a flash. Then nothing. It took my brain a few seconds to catch up. By the time it did, the car was peeling away, tires spinning in wet dirt, kicking up a thick spray of mud and stones. I ducked instinctively, even though I was still in my car, lights off, engine idling. I don't think they saw me, or maybe they didn't care. Either way, they were gone. What was left behind wasn't. I got out. I know how stupid that sounds now. People always yell at characters in movies for doing it. Don't go outside. Call the cops. But in real life, you don't think like that. You move like something is pulling you forward, not pushing you back. The fog was worse on foot. Cold and heavy like walking through breath. I followed the light of my phone, stepped slow and uncertain, until I saw something crumpled near the tree line. It was a body, face down, still. I knelt beside it. Male, young, maybe early 20s. His jacket was torn, his hands scraped. There was blood on the back of his head, soaking into the mossy ground. I didn't check for a pulse. I didn't have to. That flash of orange I'd seen, it wasn't a gunshot. It was a fire. A few feet away, a small pile of papers burned quietly in a circle of rocks. Someone had tried to destroy something. Maybe evidence, maybe identity. The flames hadn't finished their job. I pulled out a half-burned photo. 3 people, smiling. One of them was the man now lying at my feet. That's when I realized I wasn't alone. A twig snapped, not far behind me. I turned fast, flashlight beams slicing through trees and fog, nothing. Then a whisper, not words, just a breath, carried by wind. I ran. I didn't stop until I reached the edge of town. I didn't call the cops right away. Not because I didn't want to, but because I knew. Whoever killed that man, they weren't done. And I had seen something I wasn't supposed to. I didn't sleep that night. Even after calling the police and giving them the location, I couldn't make myself go home. I parked 2 blocks from my apartment and sat in the car until sunrise, staring through the windshield, like something might form out of the fog again. The body was found where I'd said it was. The cops confirmed it. They blocked off Cricket Road, sent out search units, collected whatever evidence hadn't been soaked in moss or burned to ash. But they didn't find the photo I took. I still had it. Folded in my jacket pocket, slightly singed at the edges, still smelling faintly like smoke. I should have turned it in, but I didn't. At 7:32 a.m., Detective Sarah Bell knocked on my door. She wasn't in uniform. Gray coat, dark jeans, tired eyes. She introduced herself, said she was with the County Major Crimes Division. She asked if I'd come down to the station and give an official statement. I said yes. Of course, I said yes. The station smelled like burnt coffee and old wood. I sat in a cold metal chair in interview room 3 while she set up a voice recorder and got a notepad ready. She was polite, gentle, the kind of calm that felt practiced, like she'd done this dance before, too many times. "Let's start from the beginning," she said. "Tell me what you saw." I told her everything, or almost everything. I told her about the fog, the parked car, the 2 figures running. I told her about the flash of light and the body near the trees. I described the position, the blood, even the socks. But I didn't mention the photo. I didn't mention the whisper. And I didn't mention how my hands were still shaking when I found him. "Did you recognize either of them?" she asked. "No," I said, too quickly. "Male? Female?" The first figure was fast, I couldn't tell. The second, "Male, I think." She paused, scribbled something down. Her pen moved slow, deliberate. "Why didn't you call 911 right away?" I swallowed. "I don't know." "That's okay," she said. "Most people freeze." But I hadn't frozen. I'd run, and I'd waited. I'd hesitated. She let me go after an hour. I signed the report and promised to contact them if I remembered anything else. But the moment I stepped out of the station, the world felt different, like I had crossed some invisible line. I wasn't just a bystander anymore. I was involved. I kept the photo hidden. At home, I stared at it again. 3 people. A man, smiling, arm around a woman. Between them, a teenager. Maybe 16. The man, he was the victim. No doubt now. But the other 2? They felt familiar. I spent the afternoon digging, online obituaries, local articles, social media. I didn't even know the victim's name, but I started searching for recent deaths in the region, matching the man's face to anything I could find. And then I found it. Caleb Bryan, age 24. Died April 9th, 2023. The date matched. The face matched. It wasn't a murder yet, though. Not officially. The article said, "Death under investigation." No suspects. No family quotes. Just a photo. One from the same day as the picture I had in my jacket. Same shirt. Same trees in the background. He had been at a gathering. A family reunion in a rented cabin just north of town. I froze. The other 2 in the photo, they were his parents, and they were missing. No contact since the night of the reunion. I called Detective Bell that evening. Told her I remembered something. She sounded tired, grateful. "Come in tomorrow," she said. First thing. I agreed. But I didn't sleep that night either. Because right before I turned off my phone, I got a text. Unknown number. No name. No context. Just 4 words. "You saw too much." I didn't move. I just stared at the screen. My first thought was, maybe it's a joke, some sick prank. But how would anyone know what I saw? Who I was? I hadn't posted anything online. I hadn't told anyone except the police. And I definitely hadn't told anyone about the photo. I deleted the message. I didn't reply. But it didn't matter. The silence that followed felt louder than any reply could have been. I kept thinking about the sound from that night, the snapping twig, the breath near my ear. Maybe I wasn't just seen. Maybe I was heard. I put the photo in a drawer and locked it, like that would make me feel safer, like that would undo the fact that someone out there knew I was a problem. At midnight, I turned on all the lights in my apartment and sat on the couch holding a kitchen knife I barely knew how to use. I didn't sleep. I barely blinked. I kept thinking about Caleb's eyes, the blood, the way his body had landed, and the fire. Always the fire. Whatever they'd tried to burn, it hadn't been enough. But now, someone wanted to burn me too. I didn't open the blinds that morning. The apartment felt set smaller than usual. The walls were too close, the air too still. I hadn't slept. I hadn't eaten. All I could think about was the text. You saw too much. 4 words. That's all it took to flip my entire sense of safety upside down. I kept telling myself it was just a prank. Maybe someone from the station talked. Maybe it leaked. But deep down, I knew better. The person who sent that message had been close enough to know that I'd been there. Maybe close enough to know I was still holding the photo. And the worst part? I hadn't even seen everything. I arrived at the station just before 9 a.m. like I promised. Detective Bell met me at the front. She looked more tired than the day before. Dark circles under her eyes. Coffee in a paper cup, barely touched. You said you remembered something? She asked. We walked to the interview room in silence. This time, she didn't turn on the recorder. She just sat, watched me. I pulled the photo from my coat and placed it on the table. Her eyes flicked down. She didn't touch it, just stared. Where did you get this? I found it, near the body, in the fire pit. You took it from a potential crime scene? I nodded. Yes. I didn't know what it meant. I still don't. She finally picked it up and looked at the faces. Her eyebrows drew together. You recognize them? She nodded slowly. The man is Caleb Ryan. We confirmed that last night. The others, his parents, Elizabeth and Nathan Ryan, they haven't been seen since April 8th, the day before Caleb died. I leaned forward. So they're missing? Officially? Number not yet? Unofficially? Yeah, they are. There was a long pause. The silence stretched like it was holding its breath. Can I ask you something? I said. Of course. Why didn't you tell me his name yesterday? Her face didn't change, but something behind her eyes shifted. We weren't sure yet. The ID on him was burned. We needed dental records. Did you know about the family reunion? She hesitated. Yes. It was noted in an early report. Why? Because that photo was taken there. And now 2 of the people in it are gone. She didn't respond. Just folded the photo and slid it into a bag. I wanted to believe she was just being cautious, doing her job. But something about the way she avoided my question stuck with me, like she was walking a line I couldn't see. I left the station more nervous than when I entered. When I got home, my front door was unlocked. It was subtle, just a twist in the knob. No signs of forced entry, no damage. But I know I locked it. I always lock it. I stepped inside slowly, phone ready in one hand, keys between my fingers in the other. Everything looked the same. Nothing missing. Nothing out of place. Except the photo. The drawer where I had hidden it was open. And the photo? Gone. But I had just given it to Belle. This was a copy. I had scanned it, printed it, folded it, hidden it in my own drawer, just in case. And now it was gone. I backed out of the apartment, heart pounding. I couldn't stay there. I drove with no destination. Just streets and turns and gas stations and parking lots. I ended up at the edge of the woods, same ones where Caleb had died. I didn't get out of the car. I just sat there, watching the tree line, waiting for something to move. That's when I saw her. At first, I thought it was a trick of the light, a figure in the fog. But no, it was a woman, standing still, just outside the trees, wearing a long coat, hair down, face in shadow. She didn't move, not even a little. I blinked, and she was gone. I drove away so fast I almost took the stop sign with me. That night, I stayed in a motel 2 towns over, paid in cash, fake name, no ID. Just for one night, I told myself. Just until the paranoia wore off. But it didn't. I kept thinking about the fire, the missing parents, the open drawer, and that message. You saw too much. I thought I had seen a murder, a simple act of violence, maybe a robbery gone wrong, maybe a fight that escalated. But now it felt bigger. It felt planned. And someone out there didn't want me connecting the pieces. At 3:17 a.m., I got another text. Stop digging. That was it. 2 words. And just like that, I realized this wasn't about what I saw. It was about what I might find next. I didn't go back to my apartment. I didn't go to the police. After that second text, stop digging, I knew I was out of time. Every minute I hesitated gave them room to move, to erase, to vanish. Whoever they were. So I did what I hadn't dared to do before. I went back to the clearing, the one where I first saw Caleb fall. I parked my car farther away this time, hiked through the trees with only my phone flashlight. Every step felt like walking towards something I couldn't name. Not justice, not answers, just a weight I needed to drop, even if it crushed me. The clearing looked the same. Wet leaves, mud, silence. But it wasn't the same. Someone had been here recently. There were boot prints in the soil, cigarette butts, a crushed energy drink can. Someone had waited here, or watched. I should have left, but I didn't. I circled the edge of the trees, retracing my memory, where I saw Caleb run, where he fell, where the fire had been. Then I saw it, something sticking out of the mud, a glint of metal. I knelt down and pulled it out. A phone, burned, but not destroyed. The screen cracked, still faintly warm. And when I pressed the power button, it vibrated. A message, one unread. It was from a contact labeled Mom. The message was sent just minutes before Caleb died. We told you not to come back. My blood went cold. The dots started to connect, not clearly, not fully, but enough. Caleb had gone to that reunion thinking it was family. But it wasn't just family. It was something else. Something older. Something organized. Something that didn't tolerate people walking away. A hand grabbed my shoulder. I screamed, spun, nearly dropped the phone. It was Detective Bell. She looked different. No badge, no coat, just a plain black hoodie and gloves. I told you, she said quietly. You saw too much. Before I could run, she raised something, a syringe. I backed up fast, heart in my throat, but she didn't chase. I don't want to kill you, she said. Believe it or not, I tried to keep you out of this. You're a cop, I managed to say. You're supposed to protect people. She almost laughed. You still believe in that? Behind her, headlights appeared. A black SUV, tinted windows. No plates. I ran. Not toward my car. That was too far. I ran into the woods, stumbling through branches and roots, my breath loud in my ears. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. I could feel them behind me. I tripped, hit the ground hard, mud in my mouth, knees torn open, and then silence. No footsteps, no voices, only wind. I waited. Seconds passed, Then minutes. Nothing. I stood up slowly, kept moving. No plan, just away. By the time I reached the road, it was almost dawn. I hitchhiked to the next town, bought a burner phone, booked a bus ticket under a different name. I didn't go back for my things. Not the apartment, not the photo, nothing. Because now I understood. This wasn't about Caleb. It wasn't about his parents. It was about control. About what happens when you try to leave something you were never supposed to be part of in the first place. Caleb tried to leave. They killed him. I saw what I wasn't supposed to, and they almost killed me. I didn't tell the police. I didn't write a report. I'm writing this now because I don't know how much time I have left. Maybe they'll find me. Maybe not. But if they do, and you find this, know this much. The truth didn't die with Caleb. It's still out there. Buried, guarded, hidden behind badges and family dinners and old houses in the woods. And they're counting on you never asking.